All right. Welcome to part two of ancient Greece. So, yes, we're going to be looking at we call the warring city-states. So, yeah, it's pretty easy to figure out what's going on. There's going to be some fight. This is the stuff that literally the movies are made of. There's a bunch of them out there. Probably the most popular one out there is the movie 300. Any of y'all seen it? That's good. Y'all hadn't seen it because rated R. Y'all don't need to be watching that stuff. It's very violent. It's not good. All that blood, that's not good for you. So here we go. Let's get into the warring city-states. You're going to see city-states growing. You're going to see them. One of them is going to rise to the top, stronger than all the rest of them. You're going to see them try to use different political systems. And this is the big part, understanding these first political systems, like democracy, which starts in Athens, Greece, and we still use it today. Even though we don't have pure democracy, we have something a little bit better. All right, here we go. So let's look at this. First, there's going to be rule and order in Greek city-states. It's like what I was just talking about. Now, in Greece, you're going to have, instead of city-states, like you see here, they still are city-states, but they're going to be called polises. That's a word you need to know. It's one of your vocabulary words there in Greek. So every polis or every city-state is going to be governed in its own particular way. They're not big. They're not huge. All right. There could be, 50 square miles. It could be, pretty small compared to countries as you and I think of today. But take a look at the population. All right. The population in these city-states, it could be less than 10,000 folks. So you're going to hear this thing called direct democracy here in a minute. Can 10,000 people go and share what they believe? It's a lot easier than 320 million. So yes, so direct democracy happened. We have what's called representative democracy, which we'll talk about in a little bit. All right, anyways, in Athens, all right, we're talking about Athens, Greece in particular, they would gather in this place called the Acropolis. You need to go look up a picture of the Acropolis. Go look that up. Don't just write it down to get a word and put a definition down. Look at the picture, all right? And there you go. So this is what's going on. This is how Greece is being set up with the polises and all the different governments we're about to talk about. All right. Here are a few of the governments and the main ones that will kind of stick out. So first one you need to know is a monarchy. This is the one you probably know the most about because you have a king and every once in a while a queen that is in charge, and they're in charge typically by themselves. Nobody else is in charge. Now, they'll have advisors that would kind of help them make decisions. Might be a relative. It might be another type of noble. But that's a monarchy, ruled by a king with sometimes like God-like authority over the people there. All right, now, these next two, you have the aristocracy and oligarchy. These two, these are one of the ones you're going to forget. So pay attention to it. Now, there's one big difference. They're almost exactly the same. An aristocracy and an oligarchy are both ruled by a small group of people. You may have 5, 10 people that rule it, or maybe more, but it's a small group of people that kind of come up with the decisions in both of them. But look at the difference. One of them's better than the other. One of them, like the people are going to like better than the other. And try to figure out why. Watch. Aristocracy is ruled by the nobles. That means they're rich, probably own a whole bunch of land. All right. Then you go to oligarchy, says rule by a few merchants and artisans. That means these people get up and go to work in the morning. They got stores. They're selling stuff. They're just like the average folks. So which do you think would probably be better for the people? Is it going to be aristocracy ruled by rich? Or is it going to be oligarchy ruled by people that are a lot like the people? It's going to be the oligarchy. All right. That they'll be. Sparta was actually an oligarchy. You're going to see that sometimes it's called a military state. And it is, but it's also an oligarchy ruled by a small group of people. Now, inside of that, so we bring back monarchy. In Sparta, this is a great example. They're going to have a king. King Leonidas is going to be the most famous one during the Battle of Thermopylae or in the movie 300. He did not have total control, though, like a god. He's a guy they just called king because that's a tradition. Just because it says it has a king doesn't mean that they're a monarchy. They could be an oligarchy or an aristocracy. Lots of words. Don't get them confused. Take your time looking at them. All right. Another type of person you should need to know about. This person is called a tyrant or tyrants. Now, you typically think of bad when you hear tyrant. That's bad, tyrants. But there's a lot of time. Look at this. They get the support of the people. They're a tyrant because they can get all the support of the people. And then most of the time in our history, they take advantage of the people. They appeal to the people. They love him. We think of Mussolini in Italy. Man, he was great. Giving his speeches, had his little hat on, little bald head. And then in the end, he took advantage of the people. All right, they don't always do that, though. But that's a tyrant. All right, here we go. Let's go to the next one. Okay. Now, next thing's going to happen, we're going to look at democracy in particular. Why is this such a big deal? Because it's lasting. It's been around forever. It has changed a bit around the world today. Some people love it. They think it's the best thing ever because it allows, check it out, rule by who? People. You are in charge. Just like this classroom. I'm really not in charge. I'm not in charge in here. They decide to let me be the person that kind of guides what you're doing, but you're in charge. If you don't want to do nothing I'm saying, guess what? You don't have to. You don't have to. There'll be consequences because of that. But that's the same thing as our whole nation, every democracy. Everybody, every day, when they get up in the morning, I don't care what age you are, when you get up in the morning, you can do whatever you want. If it's going to help your family, that's great. If it's going to help yourself, that's great. If it's not, that's what you chose to do, and you will face those consequences. So in democracy, there's going to be winners and there's going to be losers. Those that choose not to do for themselves, guess what? They're not going to have as much. And those that get up and work hard and find the value of this four-letter word. It's a beautiful four-letter word called work. There's value in work. And if you own that in a democracy, you can climb the ladder of society up and 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 up. Nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody's going to do it for you. You got to do it for yourself. All right, a few people to kind of know here. One here's Draco. Draco, he's the one that's going to come up with this idea that all of us are equal. Does you see this right here? All right, there'll be a legal code based on equality of citizens. Then you got this next guy, Solon. All right, look what he does. And in a lot of the Greek city-states, there's a lot of slavery. He starts to get rid of slavery. He's saying slavery is bad. He's easy to remember because of the S's. So that's pretty good there. Then you have Cleisthenes. Check it out. Starts with a C. He said that Cleisthenes had citizens get to make the law, that everybody gets to go and vote for it. And this all kind of started the democracy idea. Then, all right, we'll move on from there. All right, at that time, though, I guess we'll say one more thing. Citizens, they had to be born in Athens, Greece, and they had to be property owners, and they had to be a man. All right, so this whole idea of citizens, it's growing. Like, who are citizens? And this is the first idea of that. Anyways, here we go. All right, education in Athens. Schooling was only for, check this out. If you're going to go to school, you had to be a boy, but you had to be wealthy. Not all boys went to school. If you're a girl, now check it out. You learn something, but it's really all about the household. You learn about how to take care of the house, and that's typically what women did at that time. So they did something, but it wasn't as equal as it is today. All right. That's Athens. Now, we go over to the military state, Sparta. And remember I told you earlier, it's an oligarchy. You've got some regular folks, probably own businesses, and they'll help the king, and they'll decide what they're doing with their life in Sparta. So this is going to be all about Athens, which we just learned about, which is democracy, and now Sparta, which is an oligarchy. Okay, so check it out. This is what Sparta did. I'll kind of make this short. If you look right here, Sparta is going to go and conquer these people. They were called, see this word right here? Messenians, or you could call them Mycenaeans. I don't care how you say it. All right, Messenians. Well, they named them the Helots. Y'all need to know them as the Helots. They are going to be Sparta's slaves. Now watch this. There are 9 slaves for every Spartan. 9 slaves for every Spartan. Now, what does that tell you? The Spartans better be really good at controlling the slaves, because the slaves could do what? They just take them right over because there's a whole bunch more slaves than there are Spartans. All right, and this is why they become this military state. Yes, they do. All right. So their government, check it out. It's has branches in it. Theirs has 4 branches. Ours has 3 today. So we'll steal a little bit from that. They have 3 different social classes. They have the citizens, they have the free non-citizens, and then they have the helots. All right, that's Sparta and how it's made up. Now, daily life in Sparta, wild and crazy if you look at this. Okay, first, they got to get their people strong, men and women. All of them, they got to get powerful, or the helots are going to take over. Okay, check it out. So if you're a boy, you will be taken from your mama at the age of 7. You hear that? You're going to be taken from your mama at the age of 7. And they will send you to military training. You're going to military training until you're the age of 30. All right? And then you're going to serve until the age of 60. So you're going to be a soldier from the age of 7 all the way to the age of 60. So you basically say your whole life. Because people didn't live much longer than 60 at that time. All right? Girls now, they will also, check it out, they're going to receive some military training. And they're going to be tough. I'd bring a Spartan girl and be on my football team, and she'd be a starter because she would be tough. She'd be strong. She'd know how to take care of herself. All right, here we go. Big thing, girls were taught the value of service to Sparta above all else, and they would encourage their husbands to do that too. Yeah, it's a big deal. Big deal. All right, let's keep going. All right, so next thing here. Y'all have to just listen here for a second because the screen went off. And you've got, see if I can pull it back up real fast. IEQ 26, and that's O. I guess that's an O. That works. IEQ 26. Let's try 0. IEQ 260. Try it again. There we go. All right. So all of a sudden, this is going to happen. There's going to be this group of people to their east. All right. They're called the Persians. The Persians are going to come in and try to take over. All right. There's going to be this new kind of army that's going to come out of this. Now, it's called a phalanx. You need to look at pictures of the phalanx. Go and find what a phalanx is. It's pretty awesome and pretty neat. The Spartans and the Athenians will use this against the Persians. Okay, the Persians, there's going to be a couple battles in here to learn about, understand. But the Persians had tens of thousands of people compared to the Greeks, and the Persians should have won. A few things that'll happen. One battle here is called the Battle of Marathon. You see down here at the bottom. You have a person who becomes very famous at that. His name is Phidippides. Phidippides will run a really long distance, the length of a marathon. We really think sometimes like 114 miles. I've heard that before too, where he ran. And then when he delivered this message to send reinforcements at the Battle of Marathon to come on, and we'll end up defeating the Persians, and it worked out. It became famous. There's statues of him all over the place. Look him up. Look up Phidippides. Look up pictures of it. But look up the phalanx. All right, and let's keep going. All right, next one here. All right, now last 2 battles, and then we'll kind of look at just a little bit here what's happening. So one of the famous battles, a lot of movies are made of. It's called the Battle of Thermopylae. This is the movie 300. If you watch that, you literally have 300 men going against thousands of men. Who should win that? The thousands. And guess what? The thousands won. No. In the end, all 300 of the Spartans that did this, they ended up dying. Even the King Leonidas, who led them in the battle. But they held them off in this little bitty pass long enough where the rest of the Greeks were in the back, were able to organize and eventually defeat the Persians. So a good way to finish this Persian War thing is this. Who ended up winning the Persian Wars? It's going to be the Greeks. The Persians should have won because they outnumbered them. They had better weapons. They had better everything. But because of the determination of the Greek spirit and the planning that they had, the Greeks were able to win. Okay, now, this is the consequences of it. This is where we'll end today. After the war is over, check it out. This is powerful. This is amazing. There'll be this new self-confidence in Greece due to beating Persia. who's still there. They did more of like beat them back. Didn't beat them up where they're going, just kind of beat them back. All right. And then the last one here is the big one I want you to know. So check it out. This is where we'll get to next in a couple days here. This will set the stage, all right, for Athens. All right. You would think in the end, at the Persian Wars, who will reign as the strongest, Sparta or Athens? You would think Sparta, because they're the leaders, they're the military state. But no, it's the democracy, all right, of Athens, Greece. Do we have any questions, comments, or rude remarks? Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one, and we'll spend more time diving into that.